WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly,
the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
And he's obviously Michael Cole.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Talking wrestling.
Yeah.
Because that's what this show's about. That's what we've been doing for over 16 years.
No. It's about sports entertainment.
And now here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Ferran Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Will you stop marking out over there?
Sorry.
Move over, kid. I'm taking your microphone.
You're shallow. You know that?
I'm running on 2 hours of sleep. I don't remember what the hell I do anymore.
Shut up!
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Ferran Derry here with you alongside Mitch.
Yeah, you got that right.
Well, as opposed to Twitch, because he.
That sounds eerily similar.
It
I hope
does.
he's not mad about it.
Oh, I'm sure he is fuming right now. You could say he's flame broiling over it. No, Twitch unable to be here because of occupational obligations.
I see.
And I'm sure he's having a whopper of a time doing so.
Anyways.
Have I thrown enough hints in? Okay, moving on.
I mean,
It's just subtleties and things of that nature here. Just double-checking the setup, making sure that we are, in fact, online at WBCB1490.com.
Nice.
Yeah, just some behind-the-scenes things that I'd get into, but then Ted might yell at me. We don't want that.
Of course we don't.
Come on, Ferran, you're killing me. Actually, wait a minute. That's right. He can hear me in the lobby. So as long as he's not paying attention to what's being said, then I'm in the clear.
Okay.
And we are past the point of delay, so I'm in the clear. All right. So wrestling to get into and things. Yes, there was a TLC pay-per-view this past Sunday. Tables and ladders and chairs. Oh, my.
And...
Yeah.
What's up?
I didn't know if you had anything to add to that. I know that this is. You got nothing? Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough. Well, there were matches that occurred, and a lot of them involved some combination of those three entities: tables, ladders, and/or chairs.
Of course.
As far as our predictions certain to go wrong, well, I didn't do so great. We'll just I guess we'll leave it at that. In a way, I'm kind of glad that Lucas isn't here because he'd pretty much be saying something along these lines.
I beat the smart kids. I beat the smart kids.
Yeah, he outpicked me not only for the pay-per-view, but for the entire year of 2018. I feel foolish. But yeah, going over the results quickly, Buddy Murphy beating Cedric Alexander to retain the Cruiserweight Championship, and Elias beating Bobby Lashley in a ladder match, which I thought it was going to be, as a traditional ladder match is, well, I guess it is more like a traditional ladder match. I figured it would be more like because it is not for a title, it was merely for a guitar, because Elias plays the guitar, that it would be similar to the old ECW Stairway to Hell match that they would have, where pretty much there would be some sort of a weapon hanging from above that you would have to climb a ladder to obtain, and the first person to reach that got to use it as said weapon. But in this case, it was just whoever grabbed the guitar and pulled it down was the winner, and not factoring that in, I went with Bobby Lashley and picked wrong. I should have walked with Elias. Then to the main show. Well, we've had the finals of the Mixed Match Challenge, which has been going on for the last few months. Basically mixed tag teams, a man and a woman teaming together against a man and a woman on the other side.
I see.
And the added bonus is that the winning team would have the final entry spot in the respective Royal Rumbles, which are next month.
Next month, huh?
Yes, in January. It's a tradition going on a little over 30 years now.
30
Started
years.
back in 88.
Huh. Quite the while.
Quite the while indeed. Now, the Royal Rumble, that is where competitors, you start off with two competitors in the ring. This is good. I'm explaining the basic stuff for those just kind of being brought into the fray here, like yourself here, Mitch.
Yeah,
So,
give me some context.
Absolutely. So it started off initially with 20 wrestlers. It's since expanded to 30. But you start off with two wrestlers in the ring. they are beating each other up, trying to throw each other over the top rope to the outside. That's how one is eliminated. Depending on the year, either 2 minutes or a minute and a half thereafter, another wrestler enters the fray until all 30 have made their way in. And the last person remaining who wasn't thrown over the top rope to the floor wins the Royal Rumble and receives a World Championship match against the champion at WrestleMania, which is like the Super Bowl of wrestling.
Really, huh?
Yes, that's usually every late March or early April. It fluctuates depending on the year, kind of like Easter. So they don't want to obviously schedule it on like Easter Sunday or something like that.
They wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, so in this case, R-Truth and Carmella, having defeated Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox in this mixed match challenge, for the men's Royal Rumble, R-Truth will have that coveted 30th spot, meaning that he'll be the last among those 30 to enter. So he won't have to fight through the other 20-plus people and be in the ring for the better part of 40, 45, 50, 55 minutes getting beat up all along the way because somebody who draws number 1 or 2, they've got to essentially run the entire gauntlet and last close to an hour if they want to win.
So basically, nobody wears on them.
Yeah, they have the advantage of being fresh.
Nice.
And not getting beat up and whatnot as much. So there is that, and now the newly added wrinkle, which came into play this past year, or I guess this past January, I should say, was the debut of the Women's Royal Rumble. So now there are 30 women who are competing in a similar fashion. So it was the first time that there were 2 Royal Rumble matches in one pay-per-view, and and I had the chance to see it live and in person because it was here at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia.
Really? It was that close?
It was that close.
Had fun?
I had a lot of fun. It was the 3rd time that the Royal Rumble has emanated from Philadelphia.
Nice.
And I have been fortunate enough to be in attendance for all 3 of them in 2004, 2015, and this year.
Okay.
We don't talk too much about 2004 because of who won it that year.
Who won that year?
We were talking about him a little bit
come
before.
Come on. You're getting me curious.
It was that Benoit guy. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, yep, there it goes.
Yeah, that guy. All right, back to the TLC, though. Back to the tables, ladders, and chairs and whatnot. The Bar, Sheamus, and Cesaro defeating the New Day and the Usos in a triple threat tag team match to retain the SmackDown tag titles. Braun Strowman, big and muscular as he is, and despite having one arm, was able to defeat Baron Corbin in a tables, ladders, and chairs match to win a title shot against Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble for the Universal Championship, and also stripped Corbin of his authoritative power as he was the interim general manager of the Monday Night Raw program. But that was something was on the line for both wrestlers, and because TLC matches are no disqualification, that means other people can interject themselves. So it took 5 or 6 other people who have been seeking revenge on Corbin over the course of the last few weeks, and they all intervened and allowed Strowman to get the victory. Because Strowman, he's still fighting basically a broken elbow at the moment.
Oh, really?
So kind of hard to climb a ladder with one arm.
Yeah, of course.
So it's good to get by with a little help from your friends, as the Beatles sang about so well 50 years ago.
Support's always nice.
Indeed. Natalya defeating Ruby Riott in a tables match, which has been controversial in the tasteless utilization by Ruby Riott of exploiting the recent death of Natalya's father, legendary wrestler Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
Oh.
Yeah. Some things in wrestling aren't sacred. We've had that discussion a little bit here. Finn Balor defeating Drew McIntyre in a singles match. That was another one that neither Lucas or I got right. Rey Mysterio defeating Randy Orton in a chairs match. Basically, chairs are legal, and they were certainly used a lot. Thanks to the new kind of unwritten, at least in public form policy, pretty much every chair shot that you saw was the folding steel chair. The edge of it would be jammed into the person's stomach, which would bend them over and allow them a clear shot to hit them right in the back. But no chair shots to the head, because CTE.
Of course.
Yeah, that's been a thing, again, thanks to that Benoit guy.
Oh, Oh.
All circles back to him in some case. Although when it comes to a lot of wrestling things, it all goes back to 1997.
Really,
There
huh?
seems to be a lot of things that emanate and originate from that particular year. We'll get more into that off the air, though.
Okay.
Don't need to bore the listeners too much by rehashing. That's like when Grandpa tells you the same story over and over again at holiday functions.
Yeah,
and
man, you gotta make it interesting.
We've got enough of that going on as we are just a few days away from Christmas. So there's that. Ronda Rousey retaining the Raw Women's Championship, beating Nia Jax in her Power of the Punch.
Power of the punch, huh?
Yeah, she had recently legitimately broken another wrestler, Becky Lynch's nose, and gave her a concussion.
Okay, now I see where that power's coming
Yeah, and Ronda Rousey, she is the baddest woman on the planet, having come from the Ultimate Fighting Championship realm. The octagonal cage
from.
fighting.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Okay, well, I know a lot of things you're kind of yay sport ball about, so even though it does not have a ball in this case, I'm just playing to the lowest common denominator with you here, Mitch.
I know.
So there are some, and by all means, if I'm explaining something that you already know, feel free to do as you just did and stop me and say,
I mean,
know.
sometimes I get some context. I know, like, hey, I know what this is, and sometimes it's like, excuse me, Ron, can you?
Yeah,
explain?
can we backtrack and make sense of what the heck you just said?
Yeah, of course.
Which is what I ask Twitch a lot on this show.
Oh.
Yeah. The times there certainly are different. Daniel Bryan retaining the WWE Championship against AJ Styles. And then there's a match. You know what? I will save this for last, even though it was second to last on the card, just because I've got a little bit of a rant about it.
Oh, boy. Can't wait for this one.
Won't be. Yeah, I know. Asuka winning the first ever women's triple threat TLC match. So, yeah, the women using chairs and ladders and tables.
Yeah.
Beating defending champion Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion.
Nice.
So, good on Asuka for making history and finally getting that title. Now we're going to circle back to Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship, a match that was heavily anticipated and highly looked forward to, and being that they are two former friends and tag partners and former tag team champions together until Dean Ambrose turned on his now former friend Seth Rollins, and it's been very heated over the course of the last few months. So you figure, all right, they're finally going to get their chance to go at each other one-on-one. They're going to beat the ever-living daylights out of each other. It's going to be this almost blood feud type thing. And the match starts, and they do a traditional wrestling tie-up into a waist lock. Where's the being full of P and V? Where's, just charging into the ring and just laying fisticuffs right off the bat?
So the anticipation was kind of killed?
It was, yeah.
Oh,
and they wrestled a good match, but that's what it was. It was a good match. It wasn't what you were expecting of two people who probably wanted to kill each other. It just, I don't know. That took something away from me, and from reports that I've heard, Vince McMahon was furious in the back, the owner of WWE.
Yeah. Oh, Vince McMahon.
Yeah. Well. Vince, I could probably do, as much as I do a lot of drops of Lucas, Vince McMahon has his own section of drops here, just based on a lot of different things here. But I'm sure his thoughts on that match were,
this whole thing is embarrassing. It really is.
Yeah. It I don't know. There's something about it. Maybe it's in part because I've studied a little bit of wrestling, as actually being a wrestler and kind of that behind the scenes type thing. But even as somebody just kind of watching it from the outside, something doesn't seem right about it.
Yeah, so since you got the experience, you can tell what's going on. And
even if you don't have the
there.
experience, you can look at this feud and kind of go, all right, why aren't they laying hands right at the start? That's the question. Whether you know wrestling, whether you're learning wrestling, whether you're just a fan, no matter what circumstance of professional wrestling you're in, or even as I'm explaining to this here now with you, you can make sense of, all right, wait, why is there, what's going on here?
Yeah. I mean, I can look at it and say, the heck is this?
And that was pretty much the reaction of 99% of the people who were watching that match on Sunday.
I wonder who that 1% was.
Probably just blind, loyal fans of Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins that they could go in and have, they could, I don't know, they could go 1, 2, 3, 4, I declare a thumb war in the ring, and they would still be entertained by it. As I'm doing the gesture, which obviously can't be seen in radio here.
I'm seeing
you're able to see it, and you're entertained by it, but that's why I had to describe it for the folks out there. So that was the litany of pay-per-views here, the pay-per-view matches. Overall, I went 5-7 on my picks. Lucas went 8-4, and for the year, I still had above 500 record at 62-52, but Lucas bested me by 5, 67-47. So I'm sure he'll be gloating next time he's in here or on the phones of the whole "I beat the smart kids" whole thing. Ralph.
We're
Ralph
gonna have
Wiggum.
a fun time with that.
Most certainly. So we're going to take care of some business here. We're going to go to the other side. On the other side of that business, we've got various bits of news to get into, including some announcements of some recently or soon-to-be returning wrestlers, as well as some who are getting the call up to the big time. We'll see if it's a cup of coffee in the big time or longer than that. Also, one of the big 3 wrestling companies making a network move. We'll tell you where that is coming up. Some other TV dealings courtesy of WWE. An interview a couple of interview things here, including one that the Miz had with SportingNews.com. And also, we'll hear from Jeff Jarrett and that John Cena guy. And also a little something cringeworthy that made its way to the internet, which we're going to talk about. And thankfully just talk about it because the video regarding it is... it's not safe for anyone. We'll put it that way. It's rather gruesome.
Quite graphic.
Graphic is another word for
like
it.
I've
That
seen
too. Yeah, and you just heard the description of it.
I got the context back
We'll
then.
paint the picture with the words coming up here. Plus, we'll get the picture of the local scene, courtesy of Ed from Northeast Philly. All that and more here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Chickies and Pete's, your favorite local sports bar with the best in-game experience. Catch all the action and the players at Chickies and Pete's all season long. Live football shows all season, featuring the Brandon Graham Show every Monday. Plus, the Chickie and Pete's Players Lounge with many more special guests. Enjoy daily drink specials, signature menu items, and our world-famous crab fries. Chickies and Pete's is a proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles and the official caterer of the Touchdown Club at Lincoln Financial Field. Head to chickiesandpete's.com for the full schedule.
Ranger Station.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting in the forest. 1 second, I'm having a smoke. Next thing I know, I'm face-to-face with Smokey Bear. Wow. And he told me it only takes 1 spark to start a wildfire.
Did you know 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans?
I had no idea.
That's why Smokey's famous and you're not. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
You won't see termites crawling across your floor, but thousands might be devouring the wood in your walls, weakening the structure of your home. For over 50 years, termite proofing and pest control of the Delaware Valley has been in the exterminating business. If you think you have a pest problem, they're the experts. Call them today at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 for TPPC. Termite proofing and pest control of the Delaware Valley gives your home or business peace of mind, knowing your pest problem is in their hands. Located at 1560 Bristol Pike in Bensalem, they use only EPA-approved material applied by licensed technicians. Call Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley at 215-639-5455.
He's got the Luigi death stare from Ferran, so he might have...
I didn't give you the Luigi death stare. That's not true.
Bridget gave him.
breaking cape. I'm going to break something else during this commercial.
There we go. That's what I like to see.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Ferran Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Are we getting into that controversy again?
I know how it feels, and it's not fun.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Ferran Derry here with you alongside Mitch filling in for Twitch.
I'm back.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am.
I'm more of a Beethoven myself, but that's a whole other story. Classical humor.
Yes.
Yeah. Way to stay current.
Hang on a sec. Was that classical humor just a pun in itself?
Yes, it was.
Oh, boy.
Skills. Skills to pay the bills or something like that. Yeah, it's definitely or something like that because it's not skills to pay the bills. That is for damn sure. All right, let's go ahead and go to somebody who has certainly paid the bills on the program with a look at the local scene, that none other than Ed from Northeast Philly.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Anyway, I Play America on the 27th of December. I think it looks like the Bella twins might be there.
That is entirely possible. It's been a little bit since I've been meaning to go and check them out as far as their different events and things of that nature here. And I'm taking a look here. It looks like
I don't know original names, the real names.
Let's see. The 27th, it looks like, is Nikki and Gabby, from what I see here. I see that Braun Strowman's going to be there on the 20th of January.
Yes. It doesn't say about the Bella twins, but it just says Nikki and Gabby. So I believe they're under their real name.
No, as I'm taking a look here, they are.
I could be wrong.
No, they are YouTube sensations. Nikki and Gabby, as I'm reading from the I Play America display here, they are 21-year-old YouTube sensations who have almost 5 million subscribers and over 418 million views. Starting out years ago with parodies and music favorites, the twins became known for their beauty pics in those videos, which led to their ultimate success. So, yeah, no, Nikki and Gabby DiMartino are YouTube sensations. So, yeah, they are not wrestling related in any way. But
my bad.
No worries. You got Braun Strowman coming up on the 20th of January, and then going a little further down the road, it looks like in April they have an 80s wrestling con that is that's being set up.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it says the first ever 80s exclusive event with over 15 WWF legends. Early confirmed guests include WWF Hall of Famers Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, the Wild Samoans Tag Team Champions Afa and Sika, along with Women's Champion and Hall of Famer Wendy Richter. But that's quite a ways away. That's, at this point, about 4 months from now, so still plenty of time to talk about that here. I just happened to see that as I was scrolling along the I Play America website to get that confirmation.
And H2O is tonight at 8:30 at the H2O Center in Williamstown, New Jersey.
That certainly should be a good one. And
I don't have the lineup in front of me.
Well, I'm looking at their site here, and well, the name of the event. Well, I can say this. The name of the event is Merry Effin' Christmas. And trying to pull up a little bit more here. Okay, yeah, they have it at the Kevin Hogan Memorial Arena. Here we go. Featured, so the main event is going to be a cage match for the H2O Championship. Alex Colon challenging Ron Mathis. Also, there's the second annual Christmas Chaos Rumble, where weapons are legal, and a winner will earn a spot in Hardcore Kingdom 3 next year. Also, the tag titles are on the line. Devin Moore and Drew Blood challenging Aiden Ball and Bam Sullivan. Also, the Hybrid Championship is on the line. Dan O'Hare defending against Mark Angel. And for the first time ever, Matt Tremont against Cheeseburger.
Oh, that's
yeah.
I think that's a hardcore match. I believe that. That might be hard.
unless something changed since they posted they posted something on their website a couple of weeks ago about it. It looks to be just a straight-up match, which makes sense considering that you've already got the cage match and the Christmas Chaos Rumble where weapons are going to be involved. You don't want to overly hardcore everything.
Yes, that's true. MLW Superfight, I think I mentioned that last week. That's coming up at the arena on February 2nd.
Yeah, that will be an interesting Groundhog's Day, to say the least. And it'll be the first time in 17 years that MLW is in Philadelphia. Tickets for that go on, or they've been on sale since November. They are. I'm surprised that they haven't sold out at this point. But Low Key against Filthy Tom Lawler, also signed to appear Ray Phoenix and Pentagon Jr. MJF is set to be there. Jason Cade, Conan, Hijo de la Park, just to name a few.
And Modern Vintage Wrestling Brody Cup is coming January 25th to Port Richmond in Philadelphia on 2700 Allegheny Avenue. They're having Sandman, Abdul the Butcher, Stan Hansen, Matt Tremont, and Sammy Callahan.
Yeah, it should be interesting. A bit of a newer venue here, and I'm seeing some of the names here. The first annual Bruiser Brody Cup. That's what it is here. Representation from Impact Wrestling. Looks like I see Abyss set up on there.
Yeah, Abyss, Sammy Callahan, DJ Hyde from the Combat Zone, Tommy Dreamer.
Looks like I see
King Kong Bundy.
Yeah, should certainly be a goodie.
And that's about it. I know you're pressed for time.
It seems like anymore. Time is always of the essence here. It seems to go by quickly, as we're just a couple of shopping days away here from that whole thing here. Well, Ed, thank you so much for the look at the local scene, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we'll catch up with you next week for the last show of the year.
Yes.
All righty. And... oh, good. We've got a few minutes here. For some reason, I was all about ready to start talking about our friends over at the Goblet, but not quite yet. We still got time to get into some things here. So
yeah, you can fill in the space.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, easily.
Yeah,
without question. So WWE announcing a few returns and a few new faces coming up. They announced on Raw that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will be returning soon from their injury layoffs, as Owens underwent double knee surgery and Zayn underwent surgeries on both shoulders.
So they'll be back in action?
They'll be back in action coming soon.
All right.
And then WWE also announced the following NXT acts that will be working on either Raw or SmackDown soon. They mentioned Lars Sullivan, EC3, what a great comeback he's made, Nikki Cross, Lacey Evans, as well as the tag team Heavy Machinery. So looking forward to seeing them there, and who knows, maybe the next call-up will involve either Matt Riddle, the King of Bros, or I should say, Punishment Martinez. A couple of factory guys, so gotta get those plugs in any chance we get here.
Of course.
About more shameless plugs than Mick Foley. Right here in Levittown, Pennsylvania. No, but. Yes, as they're making the move up to the big time, Impact Wrestling is making a move, as they announced yesterday that they have entered into an agreement to broadcast its flagship weekly 2-hour program, Impact, nationally across the U.S. on the Pursuit channel, the most widely distributed outdoor network and one of the fastest-growing channels in the country. Starting Friday, January 11th, featuring the aftermath of Homecoming, Impact Wrestling's first marquee pay-per-view event of the year, Impact will air weekly on Pursuit Channel on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. So a bit of a switch in things, perhaps setting up for that Friday night wrestling crowd that, well, who knows? Maybe they're going to change things up, as right now Friday night kind of devoid of wrestling, but between this now and coming up in October, the move of WWE SmackDown to Friday nights. kind of going back to where it began.
Nice.
And also a couple of other TV deals. In this case, they're of an international variety here. WWE issuing a press release Monday announcing its new television deal with Sky in New Zealand, which is they're extending their partnership into its 19th year to have Sky carry Raw, SmackDown, and WWE's monthly special events. They're getting away from pay-per-view because the pay-per-view is kind of fading into obscurity.
Yeah, I think I can see that.
So, yeah, Sky 5 will continue airing Raw live at 2 p.m. on Tuesdays because that whole time zone thing.
Yep.
Yeah, their math. That would be 18 hours ahead of us.
That's a long way across the world.
It is. So, yes, at the moment it is 6:35 Sunday morning in New Zealand. Don't know how many New Zealand fans are listening in, but if you are, thanks for tuning in here at WBCB1490.com.
Ooh. All right.
Yeah. As well as SmackDown Live Wednesdays at 2 p.m. And they have re-airs Sunday afternoons as well. Plus, Prime, which is Sky's free-to-air channel, will televise one-hour versions of Raw and SmackDown beginning in 2019. Now, in a similar... I'm going to catch heat for this, I'm sure. In a similar long-term international television dealing... Yes, WWE is extending its partnership with J Sports to its 22nd year to have J Sports 4 broadcast Raw and SmackDown live in Japan, 10 a.m. Tuesdays and 10 a.m. Wednesdays, respectively. And that's as much as I'll play so I don't get into trouble. All right. Additionally, beginning Monday, January 7th, 2019, J Sports 3 will air a one-hour version of Raw at 10 p.m. on Mondays and a one-hour version of SmackDown at 10 p.m. on Tuesdays. And fans can order all of WWE's monthly specials on J Sports On Demand with Japanese subtitles.
Nice.
Yeah, they're getting big on the international thing. If you see the pay-per-views or monthly special events, that is going to be such a change. Old habits die hard. They've been pay-per-views for the last 30 years. It's a new thing to kind of figure out here. Even a little more than 30 years, actually. But yes, the WWE, they're known for going basically down the line of their, at this point, 8, 9, maybe 10 different individual language commentators that they have. So they have their American team, or, they broadcast in English, but then they have commentators for Spanish, for French, for German, Japanese, Mandarin, Russian. I know there's a couple I'm forgetting here. It's like trying to name the 7 dwarves. You get most of the way, and you're like, which ones did I mention again? Which ones do I still have to?
Yeah.
Hindi. That's become a new one here. I'm also trying to picture the people as well. Like, okay, Russian, I know Jean Pomerantsev. French, okay, there's Raymond Rougeau. Like, it's that whole visual imagery thing. So we've got more fun stuff. We'll get into interviews on the other side as we're quickly coming up on a timeout, and we'll also get into the graphic and gruesome viral video that has occurred in the world of professional wrestling over the course of the past few days here, but we're going to make things a little more merry and bright here.
Yeah, like Christmas.
Something, yeah. Happiest Christmas, Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, yeah, that whole thing.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, an obligatory word left out so I can stay on the air. A great place where you can have some of those last-minute holly jolly gifts is none other than the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA, where you can go with a bottle like Carl the Great, a smooth as silk Russian Imperial Stout aged in Jack Daniels barrels and blended to keep the bittersweet chocolate and roasted coffee notes in line with the oak, vanilla, and ever so slight dark cherry from the whiskey barrel. The description is good, but having actually tasted it, man, you got to get your hands on a bottle of that while they're around. Or there's Keeley, the 5th in the Lonely Mountain series of beers, where the elves in the back took a milkshake-style IPA with lactose, oat milk, and heavy dry hop and darkened it like that Black Arrow did to our intrepid adventurer so many moons ago. Plus, now's your chance to join the Irregulars Club at the Goblet, where, well, there's only handful of spots left, maybe about 30 or so. It's exclusive to 250, but it gets you a litany of benefits, discounts off of pints of beer, growler and crowler fills, and the big feature is the exclusive access to that beer in the back, quote unquote. I know I'm giving the Dr. Evil quotes as I say that. The beer in the back. Where, yes, it's exclusive to members only, and it's usually where they do a little bit of experimentation, but also some of your favorites that may have been around in the past and are recirculating. It's a little perk just for the members there. Plus, tonight at the Goblet is the 4th annual Sherwood Brothers Rockin' Christmas Spectacular, so you definitely want to get in for that. It's the first and only time the Sherwood Brothers are going to be at the Goblet this year, and they are extremely beloved. Now, it starts at 8, but you can arrive a little early and hungry, I should say, and take advantage of the Dog and Bowl invading B-Gob, where they're going to have a nacho bar with all the fixins, barbecue pulled pork sandwiches, barbecue chicken sandwiches, penne pasta with sun-dried tomato sauce, and green salad. That all starts at 3, and I'm hungry just reading it.
Same. Sounds like
Plus a great
tasty thing.
Oh, it is. Plus, a great drink with which to pair it would be Santa's Slayzon, an ale brewed with blood orange, plum, and spruce spices to get you in the holiday spirit. And I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but I know the other night when I was there, they also added a little, and this is definite Dr. Evil air quotes, a little reindeer blood.
Oh.
Very tasty. Also currently on tap, another nice spice in Old Toby, the Belgian ale brewed with basil. Yeah, it's great for those Italian dishes. If you get pizza, stromboli, some spaghetti, it pairs beautifully with that.
Huh, nice.
And don't forget some of the other weekly features, Sunday Bloody Marys and Bloody Flights, as well as brews from noon till 5. Tuesdays, we've got Jackbox.tv on the big screen, just not this Tuesday because Christmas Day, not going to be open.
Yeah, of course, Christmas.
Yeah, Wednesdays bring Quizzo from the Dark Side with bartender Reese. Thursdays, you've got the house musician Mike Estabrook, who has tunes, and the Grinch Spectacular that he had on Thursday, that was hysterical. I wish I could describe some of the things that went on there, but let's just say that they were parodies of Christmas songs with humorous, fun-poking, and rather profane lyrics.
Yeah, so you can't say that.
So I can't. I can't get into. But he is a very entertaining musician. Fridays you have live music from a variety of acts, and Saturdays a hodgepodge of events. Just a few reasons why it's always a good time at the Broken Goblet Brewery, 1500 Grundy's Lane in Bristol, PA. Broken Goblet Brewing, the semi-official brewery of Pro Wrestling Weekly. Please enjoy responsibly. Coming back, we've got some interviews to get into, and that gruesome thing that we don't want to talk about, but we're going to let you know about it because it's viral. You probably passed upon it anyway, but just in case you haven't. And if you're one of those sick freaks that likes that sort of thing, we'll tell you all about it coming up. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Hi, this is Chris Ermer, the host of Upwards here on WBCB. Each Tuesday at 1, we feature health and wellness tips with Maureen Solomon from the Philadelphia Protestant Home, the latest consumer protection news and info from consumer advocate Mike Bannon, and so much more. Find out about fundraisers, big and small, volunteer opportunities, local entertainment, arts and culture stuff, all that and more on Upwards. Join us Tuesdays at 1 on WBCB.
Hi, I'm Jack Spears. Every Sunday and Monday night here on WBCB, I bring you the soundtrack of your lifetime, the 70s to now. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you and yours the best this season and a happy, healthy new year.
The Army National Guard is offering up to a $20,000 enlistment bonus and other tuition benefits to qualified candidates, including new recruits and those with prior military service. Already received your education or are currently in school? You may be eligible for up to $50,000 in student loan repayment. Get the education you need to land the career you've always wanted. Learn more about the many benefits that come with serving part-time in the Army National Guard. Visit nationalguard.com today. Sponsored by the Pennsylvania National Guard, aired by the Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Turn your your caring, compassionate nature into a rewarding career in nursing, or take your nursing career up a level. Gwynedd Mercy University has been a leader in nursing education for more than 50 years, offering CCNE accredited nursing programs for beginning students to experienced professionals. Looking to change careers? Ask about our 15-month ABSN program. Students say GMercyU provides affordability, convenience, and flexibility. Stand out in your career. Go to gmercyu.com or text MERCY to 343434.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, December 22nd. On this date in 1997, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Macon, Georgia. In the main event, Randy Savage defeated Lex Luger. On this date in 2000, WWF Monday Night Raw was taped in Chattanooga, Tennessee. In the main event, The Rock defeated The Undertaker by disqualification. On this date in 2008, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. In the main event, John Cena and Trish Stratus defeated Beth Phoenix and Santino Marella in a mixed tag team match. On this date in 2014, WWE Monday Night Raw, It's a Raw Christmas, aired live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. In the main event, Bray Wyatt pinned Dean Ambrose in a Miracle on 34th Street match. This has been Today in Wrestling History, December 22nd.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Ferran Derry here with you alongside Mitch.
Heyo.
Yeah, not Twitch, Mitch.
Yeah. You gotta manage the differences there.
Gotta manage the differences, absolutely. And something else that we're managing, well, some various interviews that had occurred as they were fairly interesting here. One of them that occurred last week when SmackDown was around happened to be in the same location as WWE Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett, who had this interview with good old Mike Rome.
WWE Universe, Mike Rome here. I am sitting backstage in Las Vegas at SmackDown Live with WWE Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett. Jeff, glad to see you here, man. Listen, you're a busy guy. Like Thursday night, you were in Nashville, hometown, Tennessee, with the Titans, planting the sword right there in the field. You did get the win.
We got the win.
It was lucky, clearly. And then yesterday, no, I'm not saying I'm saying you were good luck for them. I'm not saying it was a lucky win.
I hear you.
And then Sunday, you're at the Winter Baseball meetings right here. What's next for you, hockey?
You know what? It's been a whirlwind week. I was overseas in London and came home in the Titans game, and you saw the SmackDown plug.
That's all.
Exactly. First things first. We did that, and then out here for the winter meetings. And funny story, I didn't really connect the dots, and all of a sudden they said, "Yeah, come on over and see SmackDown." So pretty excited. And when I walked in the building and talking to the different guys, you could just sort of feel the buzz. Sunday's going to be pretty special. It really is for a lot of reasons. But the go home show always. Everybody's taking it to another level. So I'm excited. I'm certainly going to be watching it home on Sunday.
Tell you what, speaking of Sunday, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this since you're here. What is the match you were looking forward to? What is the game changer for you? What's the match that you want to see that night?
Wow, good question. It'd be hard to narrow it down one. I mean, obviously AJ Styles, a personal favorite of mine, and he's got his work cut out with Daniel, so I'll definitely have my eyes on that. But if I had to pick one, it would definitely have to be, it's a first ever. The WWE Championship's on the line in the women's division in the first ever TLC match. And I just got to...
it's not a Good Housekeeping match, right?
Okay. Funny guy out here tonight, huh? Funny.
You
want to take a dig at my Titans, and now you want to take a... But no, all kidding aside, it's really, really hard nowadays to do a first. And this Sunday, it is going to be a first. And so you put those three ladies in the ring, with the TLC stipulation, anything can happen and anything will happen. But I definitely, that is by far my number one choice.
All right, well, it's all going down Sunday. We got to find out what's going to happen. Make sure you guys tune in. It is going live exclusively on the WWE Network. Jeff, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing what's next with you.
Go Titans.
So, yeah, a little bit of a preview. This was obviously recorded before TLC, and it turns out that women's match did Well, it closed the show. It was the main event, the TLC match. Now, he had mentioned and referenced the Good Housekeeping match, and this is one where I'm going to throw this to Mitch here, just for the hilarity of it, and B, a little bit of a backdrop, as for a lot of wrestling fans, they're face palming as I'm even bringing and broaching into this here. But Jarrett, this is a little water under the bridge now, obviously, but it's what kept Jarrett away from WWE for 15 years. At the time, Jarrett was the Intercontinental Champion and was being challenged by Chyna, a female wrestler. And Jarrett's character at the time took a very chauvinistic role, saying that women belonged in the kitchen and other disparaging things that are even more controversial than that holiday duet that's been argued about more and more the past couple of years. But I can't say what it is. Anyway, that led in October of 1999 to the first and only ever Good Housekeeping match. It was a hardcore match where various household objects that surrounded the ring, wrestlers could use those as weapons. And there were, trash cans, brooms, mops, a frying pan, a toilet seat, an ironing board, a toaster, and even a literal kitchen sink. Because, they had to go for the pun of everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah, the thought of using a kitchen sink is, what?
Yeah, I don't know. But that harkens back memories, mostly bad, but still funny to look back in a cringeworthy kind of way on. And speaking of cringeworthy, we're going to bring this up here. So a clip of independent wrestler Sean Phoenix has been going viral on social media over the course of the last couple of days. And I will preface by saying that I actually had the opportunity to work with Sean on one occasion at the Monster Factory. So this, I feel really bad for him that this all had occurred. But the footage shows Phoenix attempting a 450 splash on his opponent outside the ring onto a table. However, his opponent moved at the last second, and Phoenix overshot the table, basically hitting, instead of torso first on the table, breaking it, he landed knees first on the table, and his head continued to whip around and basically went right into the concrete. He was instantly rendered unconscious, and event personnel were checking on him seconds after the impact. Now, the clip is just now going viral, but the match actually happened back in October at an International Wrestling Cartel live event in Elizabeth, Pennsylvania. Now, Phoenix is from the Pittsburgh area and wrestled for other promotions such as Rise, Black Craft Wrestling, and more. And he was in a battle royal at the factory. This particular incident, though, left him with several injuries, including a broken skull. Yeah, for those who say wrestling's fake. Bleeding in his brain, as well as a broken ear canal, spinal fluid leaking from his ear, a concussion, paralysis of the left side of his face, and a torn thumb tendon.
Quite the graphic amount of injuries, unfortunately.
A little bit. And for better or worse, it also got a response on Twitter from legendary manager Jim Cornette, who tweeted out, quote, "Modern wrestling, everybody. Now, what was his plan for not paralyzing himself or his opponent had he actually done this move the way he thought he could?" Everybody's a critic. Ted's chuckling and shaking his head in the background. Yeah, well, Jim Cornette is known for being just a smidge salty, to say the least. And one other thing here, John Cena. He was interviewed by ESPN promoting his new Bumblebee movie, which was released yesterday in theaters, and he addressed a few different things, including hanging up the proverbial tights, the balancing of acting and wrestling, and also praising the New England Patriots football team and talking about player Rob Gronkowski's upside as a pro wrestler.
We've seen the blueprint with yourself, with The Rock. You start on one platform and you transition to acting, and you all have been able to do it so successfully. Is there a point in your life, in the near future perhaps, where you think, I think this is it for wrestling?
Well, that's like asking an athlete, like, hey, do you ever contemplate retirement?
Of course.
And you can ask a professional rookie that. You have to, because anything that you rely on your body for an end result, time is going to catch up with you. So there is going to come a point where I can no longer keep up with the pace. Mm-hmm. I made a promise to myself years before I ever found my passion for being on screen. When I can't keep up with the pace, I got to walk away. I don't want to take a ticket buyer's money and have him sit down and be like, he's just hanging on. I don't ever want that feeling. So I don't think that correlates with what I'm doing now. The biggest difficulty is trying to juggle stuff, because I have learned and I'm trying to fight the system, but I'm losing. When you're in production for a movie, they don't allow you to wrestle, because I can't go to a WWE taping, have my nose put over here.
That wouldn't look good.
It not only does it not look good, and man, you don't look right. So then they shut the movie down, and there's 150 people that are expecting a paycheck for that movie, and I just screwed them out of their wage, and it ups the budget of the movie. So I just put the movie behind the 8 ball of possibly being a financial success. So as much as I want to do everything, you can't. And this is a giant misunderstanding that I had about what Dwayne was doing, what The Rock was doing, because does movie after movie after movie after movie. And I know the feeling of wanting to go back, and I'm going back as soon as I can, but I can't go back until I'm done with this. So I totally get it. And I kind of called him out for it, and that was me being an ass, and I was totally wrong and ignorant and young and stupid, and I've told him I'm sorry, but I think that's something that our fans don't understand. If LeBron James was to take a break from basketball because he had an opportunity to film something, the basketball fans would be like, what are you doing? Go back to basketball. So I understand the resentment, but it's a tough balancing act, and I'm bold enough to try it.
So, yeah, there you go. Now, in the case of LeBron James, why not just film it in the off-season? That way you're not missing games to go film a movie. I think that would be the compromise in that case. But that's the thing. With WWE and professional wrestling in general, there is no off-season.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so that's where there's a bit of a challenge. And quickly, the Miz, he spoke with Brian Fritz of SportingNews.com, was asked about not being on the TLC card, and his response, you always want to be a part of every show when you're a WWE superstar. You want to be the main event, you want to be the talk of the entire show, but sometimes you're left off because that's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes you're needed, other times you're not. I look at it as I need to work harder. I need to try harder, but to be completely honest, I don't know how to work harder because I don't think anyone works as hard as me. Yeah, a little bit of a throw out there. And he also talked about the locker room perception of him and whether it's changed over the years after a rocky start. He said, I think everyone gets that I work very hard. I think I'm starting to get the respect that I fought for since day one, and it took a long, long time. But I do feel like, not only do I feel like the locker room is seeing it, but I'm also seeing it from the WWE universe. I can't actually believe it because I never thought they would actually respect me. One thing that I'd always thought was that I'd be looked at as a reality star, and in my opinion, reality stars were viewed as the scum of the earth. They were really the worst type of entertainer. All they did was live their life on TV. Me, myself, I loved it. I loved reality TV. I loved the real world. I loved MTV. I loved everything it did for me, but the thing about it is the perception of what people will look at it. But now everything's reality TV. Yeah, The Miz back in the early 2000s got his start on MTV's The Real World, and that propelled him a couple of years later to get an audition with WWE, and he has been with them ever since, and that was about 12, almost 13 years ago now. Very interesting. Experience. Yeah, it's amazing how all that works here. And we are just about at that point of the show where it is time for...
Birthdays. Yeah, birthdays.
He's learning. It's taking a little time. Yeah, he was thrown on the spot.
I'm learning as I go.
He's actually not in the studio. He's a satellite.
He's a satellite. No. Unlike Twitch, Mitch doesn't bring it via satellite. He's here live and in person, and I threw him a bit of a curveball there, but now he'll get it as going along here. All right, you know,
when you point at me, I'll say birthdays. Why not?
Well, okay, not every time.
Well, eventually.
Yeah, he'll pick up on it. So we got 1 + 3 Brucey bonuses outside of the world of wrestling. First, the one in wrestling. On this date in 1983, Andrew William Hankinson was born, the former WWE Raw Tag Team Champion and 3-time IWGP Tag Team Champion in New Japan Pro Wrestling, better known as Festus. No, just kidding. Better known as Luke Gallows. Festus was his older gimmick from like 10 years ago. He's 35 today. Now to the Brucey bonuses really quickly. On this date in 1944, Steve Lefty Carlton was born. The great Major League Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher, most recognized for his time with the Phillies from 72 to 86. He turned 74 today. Wow. On this date in 1945, Diane Sawyer was born, the longtime journalist, former co-anchor of Good Morning America and anchor of ABC World News. She turned 73 today. And on this date in 1970, Ted Cruz, the Texas senator and presidential candidate in 2016, he turns 48 today. That's it for us. Play us out, Nutsy.
1 o'clock and all's well.
Celebrating 60 years of broadcasting excellence, we're 1490 WBCB.